We'll take a little trip over yonder, so I can take a look around at what you've seen. I can see from where I am you're on an adventure in a place you can't describe. Some things can't be captured in words.
Alright, hello mga learner, isang magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Welcome na welcome kayo dito sa ating discussion for today. At ngayon ay magdidiscuss tayo tungkol sa modules for quarter 2 ng ating mga mahal na grade 8 students. Alright, so for today's lesson, we will discuss quarter 2 module 2 which is entitled Relations and Functions. So pag-uusapan natin kung ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin at ano ang pagkakaiba ng relation sa function. Okay, in terms of mathematics, of course. But in this lesson, you will also know the different applications on this topic in the real-life setting. Alright, simulan natin ngayon mga math learners. Okay, so first, of course, this is still given by the Department of Education. And the first thing that you will see is the cover page. Second of that is the proponents or the people behind in this module. And then next of that is the cover page or title page. Next thing that you will have is the introductory message for the facilitator as well as for the learners. Okay, and then we have the lesson proper. So in this lesson or in this module, you will learn how to illustrate relations and functions, as well as you are ought or expected to verify if a given relation is a function. Okay, so dito pa lang medyo may idea na tayo na, okay, si function ay relation din pala. Okay, so paano natin masasabi na ang isang relation ay function? Okay, and third is to determine the dependent and independent variables. Okay, napakadali lang ng topic na ito, my dear math learners. Okay, next of the objectives is the pretest. So therefore, in this part of the module, you will be asked to answer series of questions, A, B, C, D pa rin. Okay, so no pressure, my dear students, because this is a pretest. So kung ano lang kaya nyong gawin or kaya nyong sagutan dito sa mga tanong na ito, yun lang din ang gagawin ninyo. Okay, next of that is the let us study. So we have here the first activity, pair me up. Sabi dito, given in the diagram, which is itong dalawang oblong na ito, you will be able to learn how to make a set of ordered pairs. Now remember, if you are, yung na-lesson pa natin doon sa grade 7 and even sa elementary, meron tayong topic about ordered pairs. This is what we call the coordinates of a certain point. So this is represented by the x and y. And this is also used for us to locate or to pinpoint a certain location in the Cartesian plane. So dalawa lang talaga ito. Kaya nga tinawag na pair. Okay, so set of ordered pairs. The independent variable as well as the dependent variable. Okay. So, let's start. Sabi dito, describe the mapping diagram below by writing the set of ordered pairs. The first two coordinates or ordered pairs are done as an example. So, example here is lettuce to veggie or vegetable, alright? And then we have here lemon to fruit. Okay, so kung titingnan natin ang diagram, kukuha lang tayo ng isang part sa left side or sa left oblong going to an arrow to the right oblong. Okay, so ano nga ba yung mga pairs na pwede natin magawa dito? So, since lettuce and lemon has already been written, so we have the banana fruit. All right. Next, we have the carrot veggie. All right. We also have the strawberry fruit. And finally, we have the cauliflower veggie or vegetables. All right. Okay, napakadali, my dear math learners. So, there are also follow-up questions here. How did you make a set of ordered pairs? So, we just get one member from the first group going to the second group in terms of the relationship to the arrow. Okay. Next is how many elements are there in the set of ordered pairs. made. So when we say elements, ilang mga members yon. Okay, so ilan sa left, ilan sa right. Is there a repetition on the first coordinates? So kung titingnan natin ito, right? Lettuce goes to vegetable, lemon goes to fruit, banana goes to fruit, carrot goes to fruit, vegetable, strawberry goes to fruit, and cauliflower goes to vegetable. So as you can see, itong mga nasa left side ng ating diagram, they are connected specifically to one certain part sa second diagram. So ibig sabihin, walang connection na dalawa ang papunta na arrow. Isa lang talaga, isang specific lang. So is there a repetition on the first coordinate? Wala. Alright. So how about the second coordinates? Meron, because ang daming nakakonect kay fruit, ang dami ding nakakonect kay vegetable. So may tatlo kay fruit, may tatlo din kay vegetables. Alright. Then, does the set of ordered pairs represent a relation? Okay, how is relation represented? So when we say relation, my dear math learners, this is the connection or the relationship, of course, to the word relation. Okay, so technically what we have is, when there is a connection between two quantities, that is what we call relation, regardless kung anong klaseng relation yon. Even sa ating real life setting, lahat ay may relation. Alright, sana all relation. Bakit? Example, your teacher and you as the student, there is a relation. Example here right now, I as the discussant and you as the ano tawag nito? And you as the student or the viewer. So that is what we call relation. Okay? So the question is, when does the relation becomes a function? So pag sinabing function, working, kumbaga. So katulad ng mga relasyon sa babae at lalaki, so pag silang dalawa ay magkasintahan, relasyon na yon. Pero the question is, are they functional? So pag tinatrabaho or ginagawa ni lalaki ang kanyang mga tungkulin bilang isang matinong lalaki, then considered yun siya as a function. Okay, sana all. Alright, so let's continue here. All the ordered pairs that you form in the previous activity are relations. So lahat yun relations. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. The domain of a relation is the set of the first coordinate. Okay, get this one, my dear math learners. Take note. Yung first na mga coordinates sa pair na yun, yung dalawa, yung first na sinulat mo, yun ang domain. Yung second na sinulat mo, yun naman ang range. Okay. A function, on the other hand, is a relation in which each element of the domain corresponds to exactly one element of the range. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga domain ay dapat isa lang na range ang kanyang connection. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya pwedeng dalawa. For example, let's say lettuce. Hindi, para maging function siya, dapat isang connection like lettuce is a vegetable. Kung i-connect mo siya sa dalawa, lettuce is a vegetable, and then another is lettuce is, let's say, example lang lettuce is a fruit. So, dalawa na. So, hindi na siya magiging function. Relation lang yon. Get me, my dear students? Okay. So, when we say relation, as long as may connectivity, that's a relation. But when we say function, the first group is connected to exactly, remember, exactly one element or one member in the range. Okay. So, ganun ang pagkakaiba ng relation. Okay. Now, here are examples or illustration para masabi natin na ang isang relation ay function. Okay, we have here the student and the ID number of the student. So si Annie, ito ang ID number niya, 1. Si Joy, 12. Si Mark, 100. Now, as you can see, hindi pwede magkaroon ang isang estudyante ng dalawang ID number or hindi pwede magkaroon ng isang ID number na pinagmamay-arian ng dalawang students. So technically, this is one-to-one correspondence. This is a function because there is only one student corresponding to one or related to one ID number, and that is one-to-one correspondence. So therefore, it satisfies the definition sa function, which is a relation in which each element of the domain, itong student, corresponds to exactly one element in the range. All right. Next, we have also here many-to-one correspondence. So as you can see here, we have Brent, that has a score of 20 or 20. Dave has a score of 15. Angel has a score of 15. Sam has a score of 15. So, question, is this a function or a relation lang? So, in this case, this is also what we call a function. Why? Because, as you can see, si Brent corresponding to exactly one element. Si Dave, one element lang din. Si Angel, one element lang din. Si Sam, one element lang din. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng students or lahat ng people dito sa first group, which is the domain, corresponds only to one element in the range. Okay, so isa lang. Now, we have here one to many. So, isa, Mrs. Mayo, the teacher. So, in this case, ako, Sir Ash, you as the viewers, marami kayo, okay? So, we have students Ray, Mavi, and Yani. Now, the question is this a relation or a function? So, in this case, hindi na ito function. Bakit? Kasi si Mrs. Mayo is considering 3 students. Hindi na siya function. Bakit? Because hindi siya naka-specify sa isang correspondence lang doon sa range natin. Okay, so as you can see here, one-to-one correspondence and many-to-one, ito yon, at saka ito, are functions, while one-to-many correspondence is not. Okay, so hindi na to function. Instead, this is just a mere relation. Now, let me emphasize this, my dear students. When we say functions, lahat ng functions ay relation. Pero hindi lahat ng relation ay function. Sa madaling sabi, lahat tayo dito nagkakaroon ng relationship. But to the question kung functional ba lahat ng relationship, hindi. Because somehow there are people or there are certain things na hindi natin gusto. Tama? So kapag hindi natin gusto, hindi na nagiging productive sa atin or hindi na nagbibigay sa atin ng happiness. So that is why it is not anymore functional. So ganon ang idea nun. Alright? So it is the analogy of that idea. Okay. So other analogy is katulad lang din ng mga let's say eagle. Lahat ng eagle ay bird but hindi lahat ng bird ay eagle. So the eagle represents as function. Lahat ng function ay relation. Pero hindi lahat ng relation ay function. Alright. Okay. So now, I hope nakuha nyo na yun, my dear math students. Okay, now let us continue. So a relation may be represented in 5 different ways. Number 1, it could be a table. So table of values, X and Y. Number 2, set of ordered pairs. Yung ginawa kanina na mapping. Yung pair natin. It could also be the mapping itself, yung may box tapos may arrow or may oblong tapos may arrow. You could also have the graph. Okay, you know the graph. It is in the Cartesian plane. And next is by the rule. Or when we say rule, it is an equation. Okay, so let's try this situation. Paul pays an amount of 12 pesos per hour for using the internet. During Saturday and Sundays, he enjoys and spends most of his time playing a game, especially if he is with his friends online. He plays the game almost 4 hours. Okay, so there are questions here. How much will Paul pay for using the internet for 1 hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, or 4 hours? So you could show this by table. So as you can see, in number of hours, that will be your X, and then the amount paid, kasi yung babayaran mo ay nakadepende sa number of hours na ilalaro mo sa internet. So kapag isang oras lang, 12 pesos, of course. Pag 2 oras, 24. Pag 3 oras, 36. Pag 4, 48. So same goes. Next is the amount to be paid by Paul related to the number of hours? How? Okay. So, magdedepende talaga. Of course, because mas mataas ang number of hours, mas malaki ang babayaran ni Paul. Ganun lang. Next, based on the answer in number 1, what is the domain and what is the range? So, since we have this table, the domain here is itong nasa taas, itong first. Okay? This is the X coordinates. And the range is the Y coordinates or the Y coordinates. Okay. Is it a relation? Explain. Okay. Of course, this is a relation because there is a relationship between the number of hours and the amount to be paid. Tama? And then, how are time and amount related to each other? It is multiplied by 12. Why? Because every time every time na nag-a-add tayo ng number of hours, we just multiply it by 12. Or we just, in any case, kapag nasa 3 oras ka na or 4 na oras ka, magdadagdag ka lang parati ng 12, 12, 12. Alright, so ganun. So it is a repeated addition. Anyway, we have also here number 6. If Paul has decided not to play the game in the internet cafe this weekend, what is the maximum amount that he would have saved? So kapag Sabado at Linggo hindi siya maglalaro, so 2 araw 'yon. So magkano ang magiging savings niya? Of course, alam na natin that is 24 pesos. Okay. Somehow, if 4 hours to be paid, that is 48. So 48 plus 48, that is 96. All right. So 96 pesos ang masasave niya in those 2 days. Kapag 4 hours naman, every weekend ang kanyang nilalaro. Okay, so by table of values, ito ang mukha. By listing ordered pairs, ito naman ang mukha. So as you can see, when you list the ordered pairs, since this is a set, so 1 ordered pairs, number, comma, number, okay? And then, pag isusulat mo na ang buong grupo ng mga ordered pairs, do not forget to write this bracket because that will represent as a set. Okay, they are the set of ordered pairs in this certain situation. By mapping, we have 2 diagrams where there is a one-to-one correspondence. And by rule, here is the equation. So the equation is, notice that there is always a 12 pesos na dagdag every time mag-a-add siya ng oras. So therefore, we could have the equation y is equal to 12x. Why 12x? Because si y natin, ito yung babayaran, si x naman yung number of hours. So every time maglalagay tayo ng ilang oras, let's say 4 hours, so 4 times 12, that is 48. Tama? So, and yun nga ang babayaran niya dito, 4, naging 48. So the equation itself is 12x. So 12 times the number of hours. So that is the rule. So this is how you write, or depende sa kung paano mo isusulat ang isang relation. Okay? So it could be represented in 5 different ways. Napakagaling, di ba? Alright. So, through the different illustration, we can easily answer the questions. Okay, so nandito na yan. So, ito yung pinag-usapan kayo. By graph, ito naman ang mangyayari. So, we have here 1 and 12. So, that is 1 in the x-axis and 12 in the y-axis. Alright? Dito yung first point. The next is if it is 2 hours, which is the x-axis, we have here 24 na babayaran. So, nandito. So, if ever you continue this one, it will make a straight line. Okay? So, that is the graphical representation of a relation in this scenario. Okay? So, magiging linear ang magiging graph ng situation na ito. So, in a graphical representation, we can easily verify whether it is a refunction or not by a vertical line test. Okay, ano ba ibig sabihin ng vertical line test? Pag meron ka ng graph, of course, marami tayong klase ng graph. Meron tayong tinatawag na linear equation. Ito yung example. We have also the quadratic equation. Yung quadratic equation, pag i-graph mo yun, magkakaroon ka ng parabola. We have the cubic. Magkakaroon yun siya ng at most 2 curves. We have the quintic, the quartic, and the other graphs in which na marami ng mga curves yun. Now, for you to know whether a certain graph is a function or a relation, gagamit ka lang ng vertical line test. When you say vertical line test, vertical line is like this. Okay? Like this. So, when you make a vertical line test, regardless kung kahit saang part ka gumawa ng isang graph, kapag ang vertical line test ay tumama sa graph ng isang beses lang, at most, isang beses lang, then that is a function. Pero pag drawing mo ng vertical line test, tumama siya sa 2 point ng graph. Ibig sabihin, hindi na yun siya function. Instead, that is just a relation. Now, how do I give more emphasis on this one? Okay, example. Kindly check my board. So, if ever yung graph mo dito like this, okay, ito daw yung graph sa Cartesian plane. Kapag gagamit ka ng vertical line test, yan. So, isang beses lang tumama. Kapag dito ka naman nag-drawing ng vertical line test, isang beses lang din. Kapag dito, isang beses lang din. So, every time na isang beses lang ang matamaan mo, then you can say that that is a function. However, kapag yung isang graph, dalawang beses mo tinamaan. For example, yung graph is like this. Yan, example like that. Okay, ganito daw yung graph. Now, kapag gumamit ka ng vertical line test, yan, dalawang beses mong tinamaan ang graph na ito. So, technically, that is not a function anymore. That will become a relation. Now, sir, baka magtanong ka, sir, what if kung dito ako, dito ako gagawa ng vertical line test, tapos ito yung turning point, isang beses ko lang siya natamaan. Somehow, that is considered as function, pero hindi siya magiging because what we are saying here is at all times, kahit saan ka mag-drawing ng vertical line test, kailangan once lang talaga bago mo siya matawag na function. Pero since dito, tumama ka nga ng isang beses, pero dito na part, dalawang beses na, dito na part, dalawang beses na. So, hindi na siya magiging function. Okay? So, I hope you get that one, my dear math learners. Okay, so ganun lang kadali kapag graph ang pinag-uusapan natin. Okay, so let us continue. So the vertical line test is a method that is used to determine whether the given relation is a function or not. Okay, so yun ang gamit nun. While the horizontal line test represents a function. It can be described by the equation y is equal to c, where c is a constant, is any constant. It is called a constant function. So, however, a vertical line test, which can be described by the equation x is equal to c, does not represent a function. Okay? Why? Because if ever gumawa ka ng vertical line test or vertical line, kapag gumawa ka ng vertical line, syempre, kung ganito yung graph mo, gagamit ka ng vertical line test, tatama lahat ng points doon. So, hindi na siya function. Relation lang yun. Pero pag ganito, horizontal line, kahit saan ka mag-drawing dyan ng vertical line test, isang beses mo lang siya matatamaan. So, considered pa rin ang isang vertical line or graph na nakadrawing sa horizontal line lang, it is still considered as a function. Okay, so ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. So, ito nga, maraming mga questions, maraming mga examples dito. So, as you can see this function, we have this function here, we have this graph here, pwede natin hindi sabihin function muna. So, kahit saan ka mag-drawing dito, okay, palaki natin ang mukha, ayan. So, kahit saan ka mag-drawing ng vertical line dito, isang beses ka lang talaga tatama. Ito, isang beses. Ito, isang beses. Okay. So, therefore, makukonsider natin na function ito. In this graph, as you can see, there is only one point of intersection between the graph and the vertical line. Therefore, the graph is a function. However, in this part, yan. Ito nga, yung katulad ng drawing ko kanina sa whiteboard, dalawang beses tumama. So, this part, this is not a function, kundi relation lang. Ito naman, as you can see, this is a circle. Of course, kapag i-graph mo ang isang circle or isang circular function or circular formula, yung parang formula ng mga circles, when we have the topic about ellipses and equation of the circle, ganon. Of course, maging circle ang graph nun. Equation of a circle is a circle. So, pag i-graph mo siya sa Cartesian plane, circle talaga mangyayari. Pero once you make a vertical line test there, tatama talaga yan sa dalawang point. Then, that is not a function then. So, ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. So, these are other examples. Okay, so we have here the linear graph. So, kahit saan ka dyan, isang tatama na talaga yan. We have also here the parabola, the quadratic. Isang beses lang din yan tatama kahit saan ka mag-drawing ng vertical line. But in this part, dalawang beses kang tumama. So, this is not a function. Alright, so ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. Okay, so let us continue. More about relations and functions. The graph shows the relationship between the perimeter of a square and its side. So, we have here 1 and 4. And then when it becomes 2, it becomes 2 and 8. When it becomes 3, it becomes 3 and 12. So, as you can see, this is a linear. So, this is considered also as a function. Okay. Next, we have here, based on the previous activity, the perimeter of a square depends upon the length of the side. So, the formula for the perimeter of a square is 4 times s, or 4s. When s is 1, the perimeter is 4. When s is 2, the perimeter is 8. Okay, and so on and so forth. So, the perimeter is dependent variable, and the length of its side is the independent variable. So, when we say dependent and independent, Dependent, nagdedepende siya. Okay? Or parang katulad ng mga, let's say, kayo as students, when you are in your mathematics, lalo-lalo na kapag hindi nyo pa nalalaman yung isang topic, nagdedepende kayo sa internet or nagdedepende kayo sa teacher ninyo or nagdedepende kayo. So, basically, you are the dependent variable. Okay. Pero yung mga ninyo is independent variables, yun na yung mga kung saan kayo nakasandal. Okay? So, for example, si Sir Ash, I'm doing this live session natin 4 times a week. So, technically, pag dumami pa ang mga live sessions natin, so, pwede kayo will be the independent variable. So, pwede ko siyang gawing 3 beses, 2 beses, depende sa akin. Pero, of course, since I want to help you guys, alright. So, since I want to help you guys, I want to be constant for this one. And then, para at least marami talaga tayong ma-take up sa ating discussion. Okay. So, ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. So, dependent and independent variable. Now, in terms of the ordered pair, x and y, the x is the independent variable and the y is the dependent variable. Kaya nga si y, paminsan-minsan, or when you go to the higher level, like the grade 9 and grade 10, y sometimes is being represented as the function of x. So when we say y is the function of x, so y, nakadepende na siya sa x. Okay, so y is the dependent variable. So ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. Okay. Another way to put it in the independent variable is that the independent variable is the input while the dependent variable is the output. Okay. So, yun yung pinagbabasehan natin. So, si x ang nagiging input natin, nakabase ang value ni y, depende kay x. Alright. So, ganun. So, we have here, example. Rian spends 30 minutes each day exercising. Let D be the number of days that Rian exercised, and let M represent the total minutes of exercise in a given time frame. Show the relationship between the number of days that Rian exercises and the total minutes that she exercises. Write an equation. So, we have here the independent variable number of days, that is D. The dependent variable is the total number of minutes. Of course, magdedepende sa number of days ang number of minutes. Kasi kung ngayon, ayaw ni Rian mag-exercise, so yung number of minutes niya, kukulangan din. Pero kung mas marami namang number of days na mag-exercise si Rian, of course, tataas din yung number of minutes niya. So, basically, the number of minutes is dependent to the number of days. So, we have here the equation, M is equal to 30D because 30 minutes ang number of minutes per day ni Rian mag-exercise. Alright. So, we have here, let us practice. This is the time na kayo naman ang mag-solve nito, of course. So, given in the graph, so, complete the set of ordered pairs. So, itong mga x dito, ito yung nakabase na yan siya dito. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So, ngayon, hahanapin nyo si y. So, titingnan nyo lang tong points na to. Saan ba ang y coordinate nito? Example, si 0. 0 si x, pero si y ano? Okay, 6. Ngayon, si 1 ang x. Saan si y? Nandito kay 4. Now, si 3 si x. Saan si y? Nandito kay 2. Okay, so ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. And when you write them, so of course, yung pair dito, yung 0 at saka 5, ilagay mo dyan. Yung 1 at saka 4, ilagay mo din dito. And same goes din. I-pair mo lang sila. Ganun lang kadali. In terms of pairing, of course, etong mga nasa x-axis or x table, ilagay mo lang dito. Etong mga nasa y table, ilagay mo lang din dito. Tapos, you make an arrow for the connection. And then, for the rule, so, ano bang nangyari dito? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ay, sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at saka 0. So, every time ano tawag dyan? Every time na tumataas yung x, nagma-minus tayo ng 1. Okay? So, technically, the example there is minus 1. So, y is equal to x minus 1. If I am correct, ha? Let's try. Y is equal to x minus 1. Kapag 0 si x, ay sorry, hindi pala. Hindi y minus 1. X minus 1. So when x is 0, si x ay 5. So therefore, okay. Ano ba to? 5x minus 5 yata? Yeah. 5x plus 5. 5x minus 5. 5x minus 1. Teka. Alright. So, you could have the rule here. Pwede tayong gumawa dito ng y equals mx plus b. Okay, ganito na lang para at least meron kayong idea. Mahirap talaga pag walang paper and pen, no? Alright. So, dito. So, we have here an example. So, we have y is equal to mx plus b. So, Sir Ash, ano ba itong ibig sabihin ng y is equal to mx plus b? This is the formula for the linear equation. Now, as you can see, the graph is a linear equation, right? So, the b here, okay, the b is the y-intercept. So, yung y-intercept natin ay 5, okay? This is the intersection of the graph to the y-axis. So, already we have here 5. Okay. So, ang m natin hindi pa natin alam, okay? So, paano natin malaman si m? So, m is the rise and run. So, we have here 0, 5, of course, for the first. And we also have another group here which is pero kung titingnan natin to, ito, rise over run kasi ang m. Okay? M is equal to rise over run. So, if we see the graph, hindi naman nag-rise, right? Bumaba siya. So, bumaba siya ng isa, tumakbo siya ng right side, isa. Bumaba siya ng isa, tumakbo siya ng right side. Bumaba siya ng isa, tumakbo siya ng right side. So, when we say bumaba, that is negative 1. Tumakbo ng right side, that is positive 1. So, therefore, our slope is negative 1. So, we could have our formula here as, yan, y is equal to negative x plus 5. So, that will be our rule for this given problem. Alright, so ganun lang kadali, my dear math learners. Okay, so I hope nakuha nyo yun. So, ganun lang siya sa pagkuha ng rule ng equation. Okay, ito at least, ginawan talaga natin ng step-by-step solving para hindi tayo mawala. Okay, so continue, let us practice more. Ganun pa rin, mag-graph ka dito. Okay, so when you start here, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. So, mas mabuti kung meron kayong Cartesian plane or meron kayong graphing paper sa paggawa nito. If ever you are not allowed to write anything in your modules, so bumili kayo or gumamit kayo ng mga graphing notebook or mga graphing paper. Okay, so 0, 0, nandito yan. So, magagawa ka na ng isang dot dito. Okay? We have 1, 1. So, it's here. Okay? 1, 1. 2, 2. Okay, that's here. Because 2x and 2y. So, dito yan. Of course, dito sa kabila, negative 1, negative 1. Okay. Negative 1, positive 1. So, dito yan siya. Dito banda. Alright? I hope you can see my arrow, ha? Okay. Negative 1, ang x, pabalik tayo. Then, ang y is positive 1. Okay, ganyan. Ang y naman is negative 2. Okay. Ang x is negative 2. Then ang y. So, ang magiging, ang magiging graph nito is like letter V. Okay, V. Pag ganito at saka pag ganyan. Alright. So, mirror kasi siya. Or it could also be like this. Alright? It could be a parabolic, Okay, because this is a mirror. So, there is a mirror, and this is the turning point. So, this is parabolic. Quadratic equation ito. Okay. We also have here negative 5, 4, 0, negative 4, negative 5. Okay. So, syempre, 3 and 5, we have 1, 2, 3, then 5 sa y. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dyan. Alright. Then 0, 4. 0 si x, pero 4 si y. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dito. Ganyan. And then, negative 4. So, nandito, negative 4. Then 0. So, nandito. So, technically, magiging line yan siya. Okay? So, ganun lang kadali. So, i-arrow mo lang. So that is, then explain your answer why. So napakadali lang. And we have now the let us remember. A relation is any. So katulad kanina na na-discuss natin sa let us study. And the vertical line test. So relation, lahat ng function ay relation, pero hindi lahat ng relation ay function. So relation is any connectivity with the ordered pairs. Function is a relation such that all the first pair or the first coordinates is corresponding to exactly one element in the y-axis or in the range. Okay. The vertical line test will tell you whether a given graph is a function or a relation. When it hits twice or more, then that is a relation. If it touches or hits only one graph or one point on the graph, regardless kung kahit saan ka nag-drawing, then that is a function. Okay. Dependent variable, that is the x coordinates or the domain. And the dependent variable is the one that depends on the independent. So dependent is the y. Okay, the y or the range. The independent is the x or the domain. All right. So you have now the let us assess. So in this part, you will now have the post test. You try to solve this one. I hope you can do it, my dear math learners. Napakadali lang po. Okay? So klarong-klaro naman yung lessons natin. If ever you have some inquiries in our topic, you can also put it in our comment section or chat box right now. Or later when you watch this live session, because this is still recorded. And somehow after this post-test, you have the let us enhance. So, getting deeper sa pagsagot. And the reflection. Okay, then after this reflection, I think this is the answer key. Alright. So, I hope, my dear math learners, nakuha ninyo ang idea about the difference between the functions and relations. Somehow, when you go to senior high school, you will also be confronted by this topic because functions and relations will also be discussed even deeper there. So, if ever you are new to this channel, hope you can subscribe and you can also click that like button para at least marami namang ma-reach out ang channel na ito. Maraming salamat, my dear students. This has been your free access YouTube Edu Creator, Math Teacher Ash. At lagi niyong tandaan na masarap matuto ng mathematics kapag marami tayong nagsasama-sama. Magandang araw, take care, and always keep safe.
We'll take a little trip over yonder, so I can take a look around at what you've seen. I can see from where I